So when I started this journey, people are calling it, back in around January of this year, about 6 months ago, 7 months ago actually, I had a nice little win in my life, and that win enabled me to splurge a little bit. But I have always been a pretty cautious guy in some areas when it comes to spending money, especially on frivolous things. Certainly, yes, I bought a ridiculous, obnoxious car, but I knew that that was a good investment. I knew that it was going to hold its value or even appreciate, which it absolutely has. And I felt good about the decision. Plus, I also knew that it was time in my life to go ahead and enjoy myself and not wait until I couldn't get in and out of that car. So that was a decision I made. But then come January, I realized it's been probably since around, I don't know, the 90s, late 90s, since I had bought a Rolex watch, bought myself a nice luxury watch. And that watch I bought was the 34 Rolex stainless steel, date just, with a little weird, I don't know what it was. It was a strange bezel that was on it. I don't know what they call it, but it was the cheapest. I mean, $3,400 at the time. And I remember walking into the shopping mall, running to Benbridge, and it was 5 minutes before they closed. They were closing the gates, or the cage in the front of the store in the mall. And I said, I want to buy a Rolex. Can I come in? And they said, just like that? And I was like, yeah, I know what I want. Went in, bought the watch, kept it till like 2008. It stopped running. Ultimately, my wife hawked it in 2008 for a ring, or trading it on some stuff, because we were in the middle of a recession. It was pretty ugly. So all that time, I just never bought another one. And then this year, I decided, I'm sitting with my buddy who's wearing an all solid gold President Day date. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's nice. He bought it in like 1990, and the thing went for like 10 grand, and now it's worth like $40,000 or $50,000. And I'm like, you know what? I need to do that. I want to have a special watch that I can pass on to my kid. My dad recently passed away about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and there was nothing he had that he left behind that I could hold on to as a memory that we had. And there's nothing I could, if he had a watch, even if it was a cheap Seiko. And I regret not taking the time and buying him something that ultimately could come back to me and remind me of him every single day. It's that sentimentality that I think we attach to these timepieces, these watches, that make them so special. And why do we pick these? It's because they last forever. If taken even relatively care of, they will last forever and be able to pass from generation to generation, and ultimately stand as a little chunk of cash if ever desperate and in a tough position needed. A family member can take grandpa's watch and get themselves back on their feet. And there's just something about that. And I thought, I need to do that. I want to do that. And that was the decision I made in January. I'm going to go buy something that's going to be special. And I went back in my brain and I thought, well, what should I get? And I had remembered that when I got into business after the military, that everybody was wearing these two-tone Rolex date justs back then, and they had mother of pearl dials and diamond numerals, and that was the thing back in the 90s. And I thought, I'm going to go get one of those. And I started searching, and I decided I wanted to spend as little as possible to get my first Rolex. And I started shopping the websites of the local jewelers and landed on a great jeweler that took really good care of me. But at the time, I didn't know what I was looking for, and I wasn't doing the research, and I just wanted a Rolex that looked cool, that looked nice. And I found this, I'll put it up on the screen, this old date just, and it was a stretched out bracelet, and it was $6,000, recently reduced. And I didn't even put two and two together that they couldn't get anybody to buy this thing. Of course, I drove down there, and here's what's hilarious. I rolled in a Lamborghini Huracan, and they moved the cones from the front of the parking spaces at the store that they reserve for VIP customers. And I got out, and I told them I'm there to buy a watch. They let me pass the 3 or 4 people in line because I had such purpose about me and had that car. They thought I was going to go in and buy something spectacular, and I walked in, and literally 6 minutes later, I walked out with that two-tone date just mother of pearl with diamond numerals. And over the next few weeks, I'd say the next month, I started really researching watches and digging in to see what's out there. This is really cool. I'm really enjoying this. This was a 34 or 36 Datejust two-tone fluted bezel, and I realized I had no box, no papers. I mean, no, they gave me a box, but I had no papers with it. I realized that while I didn't pay too much for the watch, it wasn't the watch that I really wanted, especially not the one that I wanted to ultimately pass down to my kid. The thing had already been rode hard and worn out by somebody else. And while it was in decent condition, it just wasn't the watch. And now I had this regret overwhelm me over the next month that I wanted something else. And then I was introduced to Tudor, and I started to dig in. What's the most special Tudor? It was a Black Bay chrono with the blue flamingo, or the flamingo blue, I think it's called. And walked into the Tudor store, and they said, no, we don't have those. You need to be special, and you're probably not going to be the one to get it. And I even knew the dude at Tudor, because from the car universe, I figured he would hook me up. He's like, nah, dude, I can't. But I decided that's the one I wanted. And then I went back to the jewelry store that I bought the Datejust at and told them I messed up. They had one, the flamingo blue there. And I said, I just want to look at it. And when I held it in my hands, it was so substantial compared to the little old Datejust that I had. And it was brand new. And I said, how much? And we made a deal. They were asking 12. I paid 10. The watch is worth, what, 7,500 new if you can get one. And they made a deal with me. And here's the point I want to get across. They gave me back my $6,000. I didn't even ask them to. They said, the owner was standing there. He says, just give him back what he paid. They asked me what I paid. I said $6,000. He says, just give him that much. And I figured they're making enough on the Tudor. We're good. A month after I bought that Tudor, I left, of course, feeling good. Made the decision, this is going to be the watch. Didn't know anything about Tudor, and then I caught myself, everybody who complimented it, having to spend 15 minutes telling everybody what a Tudor was. Realizing that non-watch people maybe don't know, I'm going to pass this watch along to my daughter, and she's going to tell people my dad left me a Tudor. And while Tudors are awesome, I think they're great watches, she's going to have to tell them the damn story. Well, Hillsdorf or whatever, and they created a foundation and created this other company and to sell cheaper watches, lower priced watches, more affordable watches, and basically compete with themselves and capture more market share, blah, blah, blah. I got tired of telling the story. I don't care what people think, but I do know that I'm going to pass something on that doesn't have the same cachet as saying, this was my dad's Rolex. And that's just personal to me. You can beat me up in the comments. I started to yearn and think, man, I really want a Rolex. But I like that flamingo blue. So I figured I'm just going to wait till I have some more excess cash and I'll go get myself a Rolex. And I'll get myself a GMT or something and I'll just get what I really want. And in the end, here's what happened. The Tudor, I looked down, the date had been the same for like 4 days. And the time had not moved for like 4 days. And I thought, what in the hell? I've been wearing this thing every single day and just didn't even notice that. It broke. I went back to the same jewelry store, walked in, and the guy says the owners were there. Of course, I pulled in the Lamborghini. They moved the cones. Now I'm on my second watch coming in. They know that I'm starting to spend a lot of time there, and they're thinking I'm coming back for that Rolex, the real Rolex that I wanted. So I go in the store, I explain to them that the watch stopped working, and I just want, if they just give me back the 10 grand, put it towards something else, it'd be great. They hem and hawed. Owner came out, he said, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, you've had it for, maybe it was 2 months at the time, and I don't know why it's broken. I mean, I've got to send it off. It's going to be money I'm going to have tied up, and, we'll give you a good credit for it if you want to trade it back in, but I mean, we can't really give you full credit for it, and it is under warranty. We'll certainly fix the thing for you and get it back to you as soon as we possibly can. But what did you do in the watch? And I looked around, and the store is full of people. I mean, this store was packed with people all around. And I said, well, I went fishing in it. I went freaking trampoline jumping with my kid in it. I went jogging in it. I've freaking danced in it. I've driven in it. I've flown in it. I had sex in it. And then I let time pass. They're all looking at me to finish my sentence. And I broke the silence with, by myself, And the whole store starts cracking up. And the owner looked at me and said, I'll give you all your money back. And I'm telling you, the little bit of humor broke the ice. And thank goodness he gave me back the full 10 grand. And that's when I traded in instantly. At that point, I felt like I need to get something to get the hell out of here. We swapped it over for the GMT two-tone. Went back into the two-tone, but it was a Rolex. It was gorgeous. It was nice. And of course, again, I'm still not where I want to be. I want something. What I've realized is I want something that's going to be tied to something special, something that's going to keep going in lore, in the family lore, and the story behind it, and how I got it, when I got it, why I got it, that resonates with my family, that they can talk about long after I'm gone. My daughter can talk about with her kids someday, and her kids can talk about what Grandpa did to get that watch when he got that watch. And I just couldn't manufacture that story no matter what. And then Father's Day, we're down to Rodeo Drive for Concours d'Elegance, the car event, and we walk into Rolex, and the dude sold me the Datejust with my kid, and we had an amazing time. Go watch that video. I tell the whole story. And you know what? I didn't care that it wasn't the watch that, people think that was special or anything like that. It was special. It had that connotation, that experience, that lore, that story. Now my daughter and I, to this day, talk about how crazy that story was. And my closest friend and one of his sons was with us at the time. They got to experience going in the AD. It was a really, really cool time, a great moment, a moment where my daughter and I got to take pictures. She got to be part of it, watching Dad drop a whole bunch of money while Mom was out of town. So it was, it was a lot of fun. So that was the watch. I did it. Now I can focus on getting my fun stuff. That watch is her watch. I took it, had it engraved on the back with a Father's Day message, and it's going to be her watch one day. And she talks about it. She tells a story to this day on how cool it was, how shocking it was, because I walked in that store with no intention or expectation of those people selling me anything, because you know how it is in these ADs. And we just ended with a great story. The point I want to make in this video, and I'm going to end with this, is when you buy your first Rolex, make sure it's the right one, but also assume that it probably won't be. Assume that you're going to get the itch, the bug, and you're going to start searching, and you're going to go, what the hell do I do now? Because I lost $1,500 on the gold GMT. No way around it. When I took that back, they gave me a good price, a great price, better price than anybody else. But they didn't give me 100% of my money back. And I don't think anybody will. But I will tell you, if I was doing this again, if I had somebody give me the heads up, like I'm going to give you all, is if you go buy your first Rolex from a small jeweler or a watch dealer, I would say to them, I'd make a deal. Assuming this thing is in perfect condition, can I have 60 days credit if I want to move up to a bigger or better watch or a different watch? Can I ask for 90 and then negotiate down to 30 if you have to? But I would ask straight up, can I have that where you give me 100% back for that thing? That way, you have no risk if you go home and have the same experience I had where you question the decision until you finally land on my perfect story watch, which is that Datejust, fluted bezel, Jubilee, white stick dial. It's the family watch. It's the watch going to her. And then my Batman. I've got the two watches that I want, that I need. One with the great story, one that I just wanted as a dude, and I got it. And I had to lose some money along the way. Not a lot, thank goodness, because they gave me 100% credit on the first two watches by sheer accident. But I would recommend that you make that deal when you buy your first watch, because here's what you're going to do. You're going to cheap out at first, like I did. Very likely that you will. And then you're going to regret that you didn't shop around, you didn't learn more, you didn't do more research, and finally land on what you want. And if you don't make a deal with them, or you can't make a deal to get 100% credit towards the next watch in a period of time, then you're going to end up losing money. I don't care what anybody tells you. They don't appreciate like crazy. Yeah, if you bought a Pepsi. Yeah, maybe if you bought a Batgirl a year ago. But in a 3-month period, it's very likely, no matter what watch you bought at retail, that you've lost money when it comes time to trading it back in. So make a deal with them. Ask them for 90 days of full credit to come back, to step up and trade into another watch. I will tell you right now, I know the guys I worked with would make that deal with me. Maybe not for 90 days, but probably for 30, maybe for 60, now that I've built a relationship with them as well. But I can tell you that's going to help you work your way into the watch you really, really want as you try to discover what the hell it is that you really, really want. because I didn't even know. And now I'm clear as day. I know exactly what I want. I have my list of watches. We'll share with you in another video my list, my grail, and where I'm headed in this watch journey that I'm at. And I'll tell you right now, I'm extremely satisfied with the Datejust I've got for the family and my Batman. With that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.